Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you another video. Alright, I'm at home, Hollywood, actual home. Getting ready to walk up my hill. Got my backpack filled up. I still got some more things to buy, but I decided to go to the second store second after doing all of the stuff that I want to do exercise wise and fitness wise. So I took what I call the scenic route in front of my old elementary school and walked all the way down here, and now about to go up the hill and come back around and then go down to Traders and grab some potatoes, and that'll be about it. That's exactly what the plan is, and head back to the North Hollywood area. But yeah man, I haven't turned on the camera on this side of town honestly it's probably been almost a year since I made a video in this area. I don't think I've ever made a video walking up the hill. Probably made one walking down it one time, but figured I'd turn on the camera, man. I'm listening to a lot. First of all, some very good news about the flotilla captives, I guess is what you call them. Ooh, this light changed for a change. This one never changes, literally. They must have just fixed it, or I just caught it at the right time. But yeah, they, from what I understand, have been set to go home. They're going to be going back to a detention center. I guess they have touched down in Israel after being abducted by Israeli IDF representatives. They are now said to be safe, and we pray for them to actually get back to their homelands. And I always have skepticism that they're actually safe when this is what the situation is, but as long as we're getting good news on their well-being, at least it's something we can report on. So that's what's going on. The flotilla people are safe, and from what I understand, they're headed to a detention center, and then from there they will be going back, I guess, to their respective countries. So I don't know if that's the end of it though. We gotta see, keep an eye open for those people, make sure they actually get home safely and no accidents take place when something weird like that happens, because that is exactly what I'm concerned about at this point. But yeah, that's good news. What else going on? Listen to Piers Morgan. He's been talking with a forked tongue lately, man. One day he's critical of Israel, the next day he's critical of Greta Thunberg, saying that she's performative and taking sandwiches with smiles on her face. First of all, they're trying to control the narrative. When they were being held captive, they were likely trying to keep the peace, trying to keep the strongest of faces. When you're a humanitarian person, is likely a light smile in the presence of danger, rather than, you know, someone like myself who probably gonna have a ferocious face on, or some type of fight. Their intention is to be non-violent in the presence of whatever violence comes their way. That's what they've been trained to do, from what I understand. And from what I also understood is they didn't accept the food from the IDF that was handed to them. And I think the IDF handed them food to fit the propaganda that they're going to keep these people safe, that we don't have nothing to worry about, that the hailstorm that's supposed to be coming for them doing this is not necessary, because they're in good hands and all of that. They're going to try to PR this situation, which hopefully means these people survive this. So I thought everybody was doing what it is that looks best. The last thing we wanted to see was Greta Thunberg crying and stuff in the picture that was presented to all of us. Now we can say that she was coerced into smiling, but I think that was what she naturally was displaying, was strength in the presence of a very difficult moment in her life, what could have maybe meant the end of her life. And you got to keep the morale high, man. You got other people around who are probably just as terrified as you, and an IDF team that you need to not feel like they're threatened by your presence. So I don't think that picture showed me anything out of what I would hope to see in that situation, which is her safe, them aligning with what would be PR positive, rather than doing something weird to her and showing us that, like they did with these people in Palestine. I don't think we could have asked for anything better for the situation thus far, based on what the reality of that circumstance was. So that's my point of view on that particular picture that's floating around of Greta Thunberg being handed a sandwich and her smiling at an IDF soldier. Israel is throwing that picture everywhere. And you know, just aligning with what we knew they likely would be in their best interest for doing, which is being on their best behavior in regards to these people, because everybody's watching them and everybody knows who Greta is. And she ain't famous for this fight. And so that's what it is, man. We'll keep an eye on that situation. It looked real tense yesterday. Yesterday was rough for everybody who's paying attention to that. But my point of view is, if they can get home safely, that's good. And then from what I understand, there are other convoys following their lead. Now that they started the process, people are following them, going on driven convoys from different countries, trying to get to Gaza with aid, and also other ship missions that are also trying to perform the same act. So, hey man, people follow one another. That's what I tell you. That's what it is most of the time. And in this case, I think that's what you're seeing there is, you know, somebody standing up being a leader, and then people following. And you know, I think that's a good thing. That at the end of the day, man, what we need to remember in the presence of the circumstances, that there are people out there who are really starving, who are desperate, and they're being terrorized, not only just in general, but while they're starving, they're also being shot at. I saw footage that took place this morning of people running through a war-torn Gaza, trying to get to where flour is supposedly at, getting shot at by IDF soldiers in the process. It's really ridiculous how psychologically cruel and literally cruel Israel's being to the Palestinian people. And 600 days of this, that's where we're at, about 600 days of this. And so I don't want us to lose sight of that, because there's a lot of different things we could be paying attention to. The LA ICE situation, which is bad, Diddy trial, the flotilla situation, which I never thought that this was a good idea. And there was another aspect of it that I haven't mentioned, which was, I just think that it becomes a bit of a problem when you become hostages. When you offer yourself up for slaughter, you also offer yourself up to potentially be hostages that could be used for leverage to further things that don't have any business being done. And so that was also something that came to mind that I didn't mention. And that was one of my problems with this whole flotilla mission as well, that I just thought that they could potentially be offering themselves up as hostages. And you know, I don't know, man. My point of view on that flotilla mission is, it's less about my gut telling me something's wrong, and more so about the presence of so much that could be possible in the presence of so many lies and so much corruption. I just don't know if I trust what I see in a lot of cases on the pro-Palestinian side, because I do think that there is a element of individuals who would love to infiltrate that side, play the long game, and ultimately be covert on the Israel's American side of this conflict. And so I'm not necessarily saying I feel that coming from Greta and the crew. I actually do not feel that coming from them. But the presence of that being possible makes me paranoid of many things. Many things. And when Greta first started talking about this situation, her point of view was not necessarily pro-Palestinian. I think she grew an understanding and did homework, and then from there she's been on the right side of history. And I think that's normal. You can go back to when I first found out about this. I wasn't necessarily on the right side of this thing until I learned. I left room for that, though, when I was communicating to you guys, that I felt like there was pain on both sides and things that had happened on both sides. And then I became knowledgeable, and then I realized it wasn't both sides. It was an oppressor and an oppressed. And if you see both sides of that, then you understand that one is good and one is not. And that is really what it comes down to. But just the same, you know, you don't know until you do, and when you do, then you stand on the right side, if you care to. So I think that could be what Greta's point of view was. But before she became knowledgeable of this situation, I don't remember what rhetoric I heard, but it didn't seem like it was pro-Palestinian when it first started. So I always wondered about that. But I understand she's a young person. She's a young person. I don't think she's older than 18 years old. So there's a lot of young people that are just now waking up, a lot of older people just now waking up to this circumstance. And when they find out what happened there, then they'll be able to make an educated point of view and do what they need to do. So like I said, I don't get bad vibes from Greta. I just think that this is an environment that is highly, highly corruptible, just in general. I think anybody at any time could become compromised or see what's no use. There's no use in any of this. Or at any given moment, man. And when you're dealing with an entity as powerful as Israel, they can apply a whole lot of pressure. Whole lot of pressure. That part is clear to me. Palantir is something I've been hearing a lot about. Palantir. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but essentially Palantir, what I'm reading is it's a database, an AI program database that can be utilized to gather all the data of all individuals and determine who's a threat and who's not, and it can be used to pinpoint individuals, destroy lives. It can be done to do a lot of different things. It's an overall search engine that gathers the information of all people on the grid with the intention of finding people who are against whatever it is that is pointed at, and do to them what ultimately would be most appropriate for their enemy to do to them. Mess up their life, pinpoint their whereabouts. It can do a lot of different things to make your life a living hell. And so what I want to say is it's somewhat immoral having something like that in rotation. And to top it off, from what I understand, based on what I saw, this thing is run by an Israeli Zionist. He's at the top of this thing. He is at the top of this thing. And a lot of what it is that we're seeing with ICE in California is meant to try to justify putting this thing in motion in our own country so that our government can get rid of people like myself who raise our voice without necessarily having a big voice against what it is that ultimately the interest of the government is. They can find me, go through all the stuff that I've been doing, looking at, paying attention to, and posting, and they get rid of me or put me in jail or send me to however it goes. It's for searching for people who are not famous but can do a lot of damage with their voices. I don't fear this thing. I am of the mindset that I'm already looking to communicate with those type of people who are looking to do that. I'm talking to them. That's what I think is unique about me. When I communicate, I'm thinking that I'm speaking to CIA, Illuminati, one percenters, people who hate me, people who hate people who look like me, people who are against everything I'm talking about. And a lot of what my conversation is built around is planting the seed in their brains that they don't perceive me and what they believe I'm about as fully as they believe that they do. See, when content creators are speaking into a camera, I don't really know who they perceive they're speaking to a lot of time. I know I was listening to Academics. He thinks he's talking to like some doofus young person high off drugs, likely don't have too many thoughts in their head that don't pertain to whatever culture is, or some goofy person who doesn't have much of a thought outside of whatever gang they're a part of or whatever pop culture mush they have rolling around in their head that they probably look at all day, all night. But when I perceive who I'm speaking to when I'm creating, I think I'm talking to people who probably have a lot of power, have a lot of influence. Rothschilds type people. That's who I'm hoping is searching me out and finding me and listening to me. And while they're thinking all the thoughts they're thinking about me, I am planting a seed in their brain every time I open my mouth that forces them to have thoughts that make them retort their ideologies entirely. That's what I think I'm doing in a lot of cases when I turn on this camera. forcing them to wonder if the suggestion of having a relationship with a living God that doesn't ask for them to impose themselves on anyone negatively for financial gain or religious gain is something that maybe they should have a conversation with in their heads, war with in their heads. When they look to impose things like Pelletier and ICE and agents and all this and stuff, question if what they think they're doing and who they think they're doing it to is who they believe is actually there, or maybe there's a different facets of what it is that they're doing that is harming somebody, bringing forth an energy towards some people that they don't know, they don't hate. Because when I look to perceive who I'm speaking to and form whatever I do, I also think that the government and the officials do the same thing. Just like content creators. They have a perception in their heads or some type of blanketed understanding of who they think they're doing what to, and what those people are about, what those people are thinking, and what those people's intentions are in life, what they're capable of, and all these different things. They got a vision of who they think they're influencing when they do certain things and what those people are actually about. And what I'm telling you is, I am showing them something within me, with every passing therapy session that I do, that should make them see me when they inflict whatever it is they intend to. Not the me that they think they see when they walk on the street, but the me that's talking to them an hour or 2 hours a day for over 2 years. But when you perceive a human being as a human being and not as a concept of some NPC or some type of mushy-minded, non-human entity that ultimately represents a sense of culture that is threatening to you, then you have to wonder if there's more than just them who you're doing what to. Is there another facet to this person? Is there another one of these people? Is there two of them? Can they help me in my grand scheme of things? Can they help me perceive the world a bit more clearly and more accurately than I do? Than what this AI system that I'm using to pinpoint them can actually show me. Because you can look at all my buy history, you can look at all my porn history if you want, you can look at all of the different things that I've done that ultimately show you an imprint of my spirit, but what you don't see is my communication until you turn on my camera and actually see what it is that I'm talking about, what I care about. Then you know a human being, not just an imprint of behaviors. An imprint of behaviors that tells you one story, and a voice and communication and a consciousness that tells you another. That's one of the many purposes of my channel. And I understand that I've said a million different things that can get me in some trouble with some people that want people to be shut up about the truth. I also know I've made some strong persuasions toward them that I think they'll have to incorporate into their thinking when considering whatever it is they're doing. If they're cognizant enough of who I am, they've heard at least 2 or 3 things that I've said that have made them think. And that's my purpose. So just make them think. Put an angel on their shoulder while they listen to that devil, that don't give them too much to be confused in regards to whether or not they should be doing what they're doing or what they're not. What they're doing or what ultimately should be done is what it is that they're moving forward and doing. I don't think I worded that right, but just give them something else to think about. This is what I'm trying to say. I think a lot of people want not to communicate with those people. They want to communicate with people around them. They want to communicate with anybody who will give them attention and give them views and align with, the masses so that everybody can hear whatever they have to say. That's not what I'm aiming for. I want the chosen few to hear my thoughts. Those who have an attention span long enough to listen to everything I've ever said, who have the time to do it, which are a lot of people who probably are not working class individuals who have to be somewhere every couple hours or align their attention somewhere else for like 9 hours. No, 1%ers got time to listen to this crowd. People who put on the stuff that you're warped by who don't want their minds warped by the stuff that they're trying to warp your mind by, or people who probably have time to listen to somebody like myself. People who want to influence the world and communicate and create propaganda to reach minds like mine. Want to connect with the common person, with the consciousness, or the people who are looking to actually be aligned with whatever the heck I got going on. They want to know what the heck a person like me is thinking, what it is that we want, what it is that we don't, how we see the world, so that they can influence whatever they need to be able to either control us or keep us at bay, provoke us, or otherwise spiral us into whatever direction they want us to go. Those are the people that are interested in the things I have to say. People who are interested in controlling people like me. And so what I'm here to tell you is, if I'm trying to do anything at all, man, I'm trying to make those people who are already interested in controlling minds like mine, I want them to understand my mind even more so than they probably want to understand me. I'm trying to communicate with them and show them that it isn't whatever they believe we are. That's not all there is to see and understand about us. I think that's a very important thing. And many people want to communicate with everybody, but very few people are targeting those who would otherwise target them from the shadows. That's what I do. I want to connect with you, 1%er, you CIA person, you controller of media, you whatever the heck, on the whatever side of the fence you are. If you want to put Palantir on my head, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want you to know exactly who you're dealing with. I want you to know what's in my head that's provided by the living God that I serve, that is meant for you. Help you perceive what it is that you're doing properly, because I believe in God in such a way, and I know that he believes in me in such a way to where I know I can influence you. I know I can. I'm supposed to. That's what I'm here for. Not necessarily to influence the masses, but to influence the controlling powers of this world, or at least plant a seed in their mind that will never be planted for within the distance that they stand between themselves and everybody else on the planet, while trying to control everybody, being so distant and so out of touch. That's what I'm here to do. That's why I'm like, yo, you can put the Palantir on me. Come and listen to everything I say. Every word that I've been saying for the last 5-6 years since I've been on this channel. Listen to all of it. And if you do, you're going to find out I have been talking to you the whole time. Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching. No.